Good morning and welcome to The Art of Composition. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it, as always. I thought I would look at another Jim Serret painting. And I came across this painting in one of his articles on the harmonic armature. I talk a lot about Jim's work because, one, I like it. I think it's great. Two, he's very open about what he's doing, and I think that is an important part of learning composition. You have to analyze work that you know the artist is using. It's a good place to start, and I'm very determined to drive that point home when I do these videos, because when you're learning this information and you don't have a good place to start, if you don't have a solid foundation of artists to look at when you're analyzing work, it's very easy to come up empty-handed and wrong in a lot of your conclusions, and it slows down the learning process drastically. So I'm going to drop the harmonic armature on this painting. It's not going to be a long video, and I want to demonstrate a few things what Jim is doing here. All right, so this is a painting with the harmonic armature drawn on it. When you see the diagonal lines, the first thing that I notice is how these petals and the branches are following a lot of the angles in the armature. You have a diagonal line here. Then, of course, you have this stem. It's following this diagonal line right here. You have this diagonal line being played out here and in the petal there. These are very obvious uses of using diagonal lines in the armature. But as with the harmonic armature, I've talked about this in my user's guide, you can frame in elements of your subject. In this case, it's a still life. You have a bottle with some flowers in it. Then you have a horizontal line right here for the tabletop. Let me show you how some of this is coming about. I can drop a horizontal line right here. Remember, wherever two or more diagonal lines meet, I can drop a horizontal or vertical. It gives me that dominant horizontal line right there, straight up. I can then drop a vertical here where this series of diagonal lines intersects. I can drop another one right here where this division happens. And of course, notice it's all on the same division. I believe this is thirds. But when I drop a vertical here where this series of diagonal lines meet, I can then drop a horizontal line where that vertical and that diagonal line intersect, and I can bring it all the way over, and it locks the bottom of this bottle into place. So I framed in this bottle, this vase, just with a few lines derived from the harmonic armature. In other words, he's not placing it randomly on the canvas. His dominant horizontal is logically placed. He's framing in the bottle, and then he's using the diagonal lines of the armature to place the flowers and the stems. And I'll emphasize that using solid lines. All right, so I have this vertical, this one here, it's framing in the bottle, remember. I have this one right here, the horizontal lines framing in the top of that. So I framed in the vase, the bottle here. But again, like I said, you have these diagonal lines being played out. Here's one with the stem. And then you have this diagonal line right here. And you have this one right here. The artist is using these diagonal lines in perspective there. And then there's another one right here. And this is how the artist can use that armature very simply. It's not complicated. I'm not dropping down hundreds of lines. I'm creating a few divisions. I'm framing in some elements of my still life. And of course, you have that dominant horizontal line right here. Tabletop. There you go. Again, it's not overly complex, but it's effective. And again, you do have some diagonal lines being played out here as well. This is how the artist can simply use the armature. And like I said, when you're studying these artists and you know they're using it, it makes analyzing their work easier, which means you can learn quicker, and you can learn a lot in a very short period of time. That's going to be it for today. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it, as always.